What would you do if you weren't afraid? What would you do if you didn't have that little bit of fear in you? What would you do? Would you take that step forward? Would you take that leap of faith? What would you do if fear wasn't an option? Because if you sit back and think about it, only thing stopping you is you being afraid. The only thing that's stopping you from taking that leap of faith, only thing that's stopping you from making that big decision is you being afraid. And the crazy thing about being afraid is it only come on you when it's about these big decisions. These decisions that can potentially change your life. What if you were the opposite of being afraid? What would you do? You would do it, right? You'll make that decision. You'll take that leap of faith. You wouldn't sit back and let that hold you back. So why is it when fear come around and you being afraid, it leaves you stagnant and you not moving, you not progressing. It leaves you just sitting around thinking about, what if this goes wrong? Oh no, I'm afraid of what people are gonna say to me. What if you weren't afraid? Being afraid could open up, not being afraid could open up so many doors for you. But yet, you rather sit back and just think about all the negative in it. You rather sit back and think, what if this don't work? What if this? What if that? You all afraid. Not knowing that failure is a part of your journey. Failure is going to come one way or another. Life isn't always going to be easy. The decision you make is not always going to be simple. Failure is going to come one way or another. So you're either going to run from it or you're going to run towards it. When it's time to make that big decision and fear come upon you and you're afraid, you don't know what to do, don't be scared. You should be excited. Because one way or another, you taking that leap of faith or you doing what you're afraid of, it's gonna be a win-win situation. You either progress with it and you made a big change in your life, or you learn from it and you know how to move on now. And when failure come and then the trials and tribulations come behind it, you should be excited. You know why? Because God picked you for this. If He would have picked somebody else, they probably would have got the reward at the end. But yet, you getting the reward at the end. You taking on this big challenge. Because God's not going to give you nothing that's too big for you or that you can't handle. So now you know you can handle this situation. It's nothing to be afraid of. And that one thing you're afraid of, it could be that one thing leading to your big moment. The winning touchdown, the winning catch of the game, winning touchdown. That one thing you're afraid of, it could be that one thing that make a whole 360 in your life. I was about to say 180. But they make a whole 360 in your life. But yet you're afraid to take on the challenge. You're afraid to do this. You're afraid to do that. You gotta fail to get it right. Of course you're not gonna get it right on the first time. Rarely anybody does. And I mean, if they do, you don't know what they did to get that, to make it on the first try. When you fail, you need to embrace it. I mean, it sucks, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It sucks when you fail. It sucks when something don't go the way you planned it or the way you want it. But you gotta realize once you fail, the only way you can go is up. You hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. So don't let that hold you back from taking that leap of faith. Failing is never a loss. It's always either a win or no. Failing is never a loss. It's always a lesson learned. Nah, it's a loss if you fail and you repeat that same thing as if you didn't learn anything. Then you can count that as a loss. But still, you really can't, because you're gonna learn from it. Each time you make a mistake, you're gonna learn from it. So don't let failure hold you back from taking that leap of faith and doing something that you haven't never done before. To get something that you never have, you have to do something that you've never done. So don't let fear be the reason that's holding you back. Don't let fear be the reason you're not making that big decision, or you're scared to make that decision. Now, of course, failure sucks. Like, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to be put in that position that you fail and now you at rock bottom. But once you fail, the only way you can go is up. Once you realize you fail and you can't go no further, you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. You take that same that same struggle, that same what you felt when you failed, and you put it towards succeeding in something. You put it towards making that right decision, the thing that you were afraid of. Because no man, the man or woman who doesn't fail has no glory. No man or woman who doesn't fail has no glory. When you fail, when you fail, then at the end it feels worth it. You deserve it. You have the glory. No one can take that from you. Because really, if life didn't have any failure, would it really be worth it? Would these small little things and these milestones in life, would it really be worth it? If we could just ease all the way through life, getting everything we wanted, would it really be worth it? I don't think it would be worth it. Because like I said before, you'll have no glory at the end. It's just like, oh, this was handed to me. It is what it is. You have nothing to be proud of, nothing to pat yourself on the back about. So don't let failure be one of the components of the fear that you have with something. The crazy thing about fear is, once you do that thing you're afraid of, 9 times out of 10 you realize it wasn't even that bad. You realize, dang, I wish I would have did this sooner. Or like, it really wasn't that bad. I could have really knocked this out earlier. I really could have did this earlier. I could have been farther ahead if I didn't just procrastinate with my fear. But yeah, you realize that it wasn't even that deep. It wasn't even that serious. I heard this. I ain't make up the quote. I'm gonna quote from Alex Hormozi. Don't get me wrong. Don't kill me if I said his name wrong. But that's what he said. He said, fear is a mile wide. Fear is a mile wide and only an inch deep. Think about it. Think about that perspective on it. Fear is a mile wide, but only an inch deep. So once you step into it and you take that leap and you move towards what you're afraid of, you realize it's only an inch deep. Oh, you can do this. Oh, this ain't nothing. You can walk that whole mile now. It's only an inch deep. Because fear is just a pigment of our imagination. You really don't know what you're afraid of, really. If you're afraid of failure, how you know you're gonna fail when you expect yourself to fail? Fear is just something that we imagine and we trick our minds into thinking that is real. Fear sometimes causes these illusions and make you think things and worry about things that probably don't have nothing to even do with you, that you probably not even gonna face. You're so focused on fear, but maybe you just need to fix your focus. I got an example for you, a Bible reference for you. In Matthew 14, verse 30. But before I get to the verse, in Matthew, I don't know if you're familiar, but in Matthew 14, verse 30, when Jesus was about to walk on water, he walked on water, and Peter was in the boat that Jesus was walking towards. And at first they got scared, but then Jesus was like, no, calm down, it's me, take courage. And Jesus was walking towards them, and Peter decided that he wanted to step out on the lake too. So when we started to step out on the lake, he began walking towards Jesus. Mind you, his mind was fixed on Jesus. He wasn't focused on nothing else. He was just fine. But until he lost focus. The moment he lost focus and he got scared, he started imagining things that's not even real, things that you can't even see. That's why I say it's a pigment of your imagination. Here's the verse for you. But when Peter saw the wind, he was afraid. Yeah. Ain't this wind, dog? Calm down. But here's the verse. But when Peter saw the wind, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. Now, mind you, I just said fear is just a pigment of our imagination, something we can't even see, something we just imagine. Now, can you see when? You can't see when. That's what happened to Peter. He lost focus, and he lost focus on Jesus, to where his imagination ran wild. He got scared. The moment he got scared, he started to see things. Fear came upon him. He started seeing things that weren't even real, things that's not even causing him to cause him to sink. It was his fear. So maybe we need to fix our focus. Instead of being worried about you being afraid, fix your focus on Jesus. Fix your focus on God. Focus on the positive things. Because being focused on the wrong things, you're going to end up just like Peter was, sinking. When the whole time he was fine until he lost focus. The moment Peter, his eyes got fixated on something else, it's when he started to sink. And in that situation, if Peter never lost focus, and fear would have never been a component of the situation. But as soon as fear plays a part in it, that's when you start to lose, you start to sink down like Peter. Because things like fear and worry and all that, those are not traits of God. That's just the devil attacking you, trying to mess with your mind. Like I said, a pigment of your imagination, things that's not even real. So you start to mess with your mind, and you start seeing things that's not even real. So when traits like fear, worry, things like that come upon you, and you start thinking about them, realize that's not God talking to you. That's the devil. He's trying to hold you back. And then that ties into your faith too. You can't be afraid and have faith in God. That's another perspective you can see on the story with Peter. When he lost faith, when he lost faith, fear came upon him. The moment his faith got belittled and he lost it, the moment he began to sink. The moment when fear started to come upon him. Because remember, in the beginning, he couldn't even see. You can't see when. So the moment your faith get too little, the moment you lose focus on God or on the right things, that's when everything starts to sink. Everything starts to fail. So fix what you're focused on. Fix what you're giving your time to. Don't be fixated on the wrong things, on fear. Be fixated on moving forward, trying to achieve whatever you're trying to do. We done yapped it up for today. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I hope everything I said helped anybody or helped you a little bit. So I appreciate you made it this far. If you didn't, I appreciate you. If you like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And yeah, as always, y'all gonna be great.